I had a buddy growing up, man. He used to hold that thing like a lower primate. I mean, it was unbelievable.
I'm going to show you.
Got through a day.
Do you mind if I use your pen?
I'm handing Griff a pen, everyone.
This is how I
What is that? Not since Deadliest Catch have I seen someone's hand seized in that way around anything.
I don't do this. I literally write like this.
Give me my pen back, you ape. What is that?
We'll try to show it.
We can teach gorillas to sign language, and we can't get Griff to hold a pen properly. This is insane. Moneymaker, 8-9 offsuit, makes it 75,000. Xianchao, rather.
My mom said it was because I was special.
In this video for CoinPoker.com, we're taking a look at a fun hand that Chris Moneymaker played in a $40,000 buy-in mystery bounty tournament at the Triton Poker Series in Montenegro. I'm not exactly sure how the bounties work in this tournament. If Chris Moneymaker can get a bounty, that will change his strategy. If he cannot, well, that will also change his strategy and make this play more like a normal hand. Also, there are 36 players remaining and 151 get in the money, so the players are not super close to getting in the money, but getting close enough to where you want to start thinking about conserving your stack. Okay, in this hand, it folds around to Chris Moneymaker, playing about 55 big blinds deep effective. He raises it up with 9 of clubs, 8 of hearts from the small blind, which is perfectly fine and good, especially if he can collect a bounty from his opponent who is a little bit shorter stack than him, and also as you approach the bubble. When you cover someone nearing the bubble, or when you can get their bounty, you usually want to be aggressive. Now, normally 9-8 offsuit's a hand that can limp or raise, but with those implications, you definitely want to raise it up. Shen in the big blind with king 6 of spades has an easy call. Let's go to the flop.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know how long your bus was, but here we go. King 10-5, top pair for Shen.
I had the shortest one. They said it was the fastest.
I don't think they're allowed to drive fast, regardless of length.
Shen, big advantage here. Chris doing his Chris thing, which is often, well, if I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to bet. And that can be very tough to play against. In this spot, though, it's going to be tough to win.
We're not going anywhere with top pair.
And rightfully, Shen keeping in those bluffs.
Flop comes king of hearts, 10 of spades, 5 of clubs. Chris Moneymaker has nothing. Shen has top pair. The pot is 175,000. Chris Moneymaker with zip and pip goes for 125,000. A chunky bet with his absolute nothing. You may say, is this necessary? Should we just check fold? And look, you can go either way. I don't think you need to automatically bet the 9-8 every single time, especially if the player in the big blind's defending range may be a little bit tighter than normal because, again, of the payout implications, meaning they're going to have just more high cards in general. That said, blasting it can't be all that bad. Chris Moneymaker goes 125. Shen with top pair has an easy call. Let's head to the turn.
Jack on the turn.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Moneymaker picks up a little equity. He had stone 9 high. Now a two-way straight draw. Of course, the queen could be an issue against ace-x.
Yeah, I would say there's not a lot of cards you want to continue with this particular bluff combo on the turn for Chris, but the jack is kind of interesting. The jack of hearts even.
You all told me that you wanted to play poker against me and the poker coaching coaches. So, every week for the next year, we are hosting a $2,000 free roll on CoinPoker.com. To get in the game, head over right now to pokercoaching.com/freeroll. I'll see you there.
Just happens to be that Shen has near the top of his range with that king and, you know, won't be folding. But Chris now has a chance at least, 18% to hit that straight draw, open-ended.
$275,000 chip second barrel as Chris, who has a reputation for being on the aggressive side of the spectrum, is trying to blast his way through this one. Shen, not having any of it, suddenly recreep toward $1 million in the middle with 1 to come.
The turn is a spicy one. It is the Jack of Hearts, giving Chris Moneymaker an open-ended straight draw. Although the queen is not especially great for him because an ace would make a better straight. Chris Moneymaker, though, does not care. He continues betting $275,000 into the $425,000 pot. You may say, is this necessary? And at this point, the answer is definitely yes. Moneymaker always wants to be trying to find some bluffs in this scenario. And if you think about his pre-flop raising range, he'll want to continue betting on the turn. He's going to have some high equity draws, some medium equity draws, and some trash draws. And I think this 9-8 is a pretty decent hand to consider a trash draw because, well, he doesn't necessarily want to check and fold it. And if he bets, he can certainly get some hands like a 10 or 5 to fold, especially if they don't have any additional equity. So I love this play. Shen with his top pair. Cannot fold. You got to call. You may say, should he raise to try to make Moneymaker fold all of his draws? The answer is no, 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 no. Because if you raise here with the king 6 and lots of money or all the money goes all in, you're going to be in a very, very bad spot. So easy call for Shen. Let's go to the river.
And Moneymaker doesn't get there. He does have an 8 of hearts as the backdoor flush does appear. Will he wave the white flag? Or will he blast? Slightly north of 1 SPR.
It would be.
A jam. And look at this.
Oh my god.
From Moneymaker.
The river is the 4 of hearts, giving Moneymaker nothing. And he decides to put Shen all in for a little bit less than a pot size bet. To some people, this may seem like an automatic bluff because we have 9 high. However, this is a spot where you have to be a little bit selective with your bluffs because this is a spot where Moneymaker could easily have 9-8 with no heart, right? And in this scenario, you really want to block whatever effective nut hands your opponent could potentially have. So what are the effective nut hands that Shen could have that will never, ever, ever, ever fold? Well, primarily a flush, right? So in this spot, you really, really, really want to have a flush blocker. Now, the 8 of hearts is actually not a particularly great flush blocker because Shen is not going to be calling pre-flop with too many hands containing an 8. You would much prefer in this spot to have an ace or a queen of heart blocker, or potentially even the 9, because that's going to block just a few more logical flush hands that Shen could have. That said, I think this play is probably fine. If Shen thinks Moneymaker's a little bit on the tighter side, I love this play. If he thinks he's loose and aggressive and crazy, well, then the play starts to lose a lot of merit because this is probably about as wide of a range as you can bluff with in this spot, assuming Moneymaker is bluffing lots of ace of hearts, lots of queen of hearts, lots of 9 of hearts, and lots of 8 of hearts. So don't get too carried away in this spot, but if there ever is a spot to be way more inclined to blast off, it is when you can potentially collect a bounty and when you are nearing the money. Let's see if Shen finds the call.
Shen appears confused. This was a raise to 75,000 blind versus blind. A C bet of 125, a turn bet of 275, and then all of it on the end. What sorts of hands would behave in this fashion?
Incredibly strong bluff, and for someone who already holds Moneymaker in pretty high regard for a number of reasons, you know, sometimes his plays seem a little off the wall. And that's, you know, what makes him fun to watch too. Unpredictable, throwing these professionals off guard. But in this situation, this is just an absolutely strong, brilliant bluff. Really understanding what he's representing, recognizing that his opponent has something like a king or a queen jack. You know, having that heart in his hand, which makes it less likely his opponent.
Yeah, and he gets it through.
After a lot of thought, Shen lets it go, and you certainly cannot fault him for that. Shen ended up sinking into the money, and Chris Moneymaker ended up taking 3rd place in this tournament for $311,000. Poker boomed because Chris Moneymaker won the main event way back in 2003. Before we wrap it up, I want to know, what is another thing that happened in poker's history that, in your opinion, substantially impacted the poker world? Take a second, think about it, let me know in the comments section down below, and I'll be right back with a few more thoughts.
Making a believer out of the deep stack, Shen, and ascending up the leaderboard in the early going, day 2 of this 40K mystery bounty. Chat loves to see it. Such a hero.
while there have been many things that have happened in the poker world that have made poker the game it is today, such as the invention of poker tournaments, the invention of satellites, online poker becoming a thing, and many other things, I think the number one that made poker back in the day was the invention of the whole card camera. You can search this on Google or Wikipedia and find out all about the story of the whole card camera and its invention. But without the ability for people watching poker to be able to actually see the cards of the players, poker would be way less exciting. And if poker is viewed as not all that exciting, well, why would you even give it a try? But because we can see players' cards, we can see Chris Moneymaker running this savage bluff, that makes you want to get in there and do it yourself. I'll talk to you next time.